Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your StockMiner, Brian Johnson. And move down today in the markets. Bears taking over here, guys. You gotta look at it for what it is. It just is what it is. And it's bearish. I really love to play the futures. So I was really happy with this gap down today. For those of you that don't play the futures or understand, the futures are something that actually runs all night long. I'll give you the short of it. The futures are something that actually they run all night long. You can trade them all night long. And what they give you the ability to do is if there's any kind of major news in the middle of the night, you can get out of your position or out of your futures position, and you don't have to wait until the morning where you're waiting for pre-market or you're waiting for the market to open. So futures allow me a lot of freedom, especially in moments. I'll give you just, a handful of mentoring information here, and that is this is a lot of this style is a lot of what I do when the markets are very, very indecisive, especially if I'm pretty confident which way it's going to go, but it just hasn't given me the confirmation I was looking for type of thing. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Futures are exactly what I love to play at that point. And so had some entry points set last night. They were triggered. Woke up this morning to a very healthy profit to start the day. Was very happy about that. Then it was just a matter of managing it after that. So here we are at the end of the day, right back to about where we started. We got a gap down. Where did it go? Gee whiz, right below the 10-100 mark. I don't like to play gaps, but I do like to watch and see what they do when they first start the day. We had plenty of opportunity to watch it come back up, retest that 10-100 line, which was ultimately my go short area for the more conservative, and play it back to the downside after we saw that area hold. Just a very nice trade to take today. I played the futures most of the day. I got to tell you guys, I'm ecstatic right now. I'm very, very comfortable where we're at in the markets. I'm very comfortable with where things are going, and so my trading has been very, very good lately. I'm very, very happy. How about that? Can I say very anymore? I don't think so. So we had the break below 10-100. I said ultimately, remember that 10,000 mark is one we're going to really, really watch closely. And sure enough, look what the low of the day was. Just 9991. As we just managed to break the 10,000 mark. This is kind of what I thought we would see, this action down here, if we broke 10-100 without first, falling through. If we fell through it, I expect a little bounce back there, but now look at what we've done. We gap below it, right to the 10,000 mark, back up, and now starting to move right back down again. Still got to remain bearish on these markets. About midway, the volume was okay, but man, by the end of the day, we got some really decent bearish volume pouring in, certainly more than what we saw yesterday, lending itself to what I think could be more of a bear move. For those of you that might be short or might be holding short overnight, let me just tell you, I would not be all that concerned. If we open flat tomorrow, I still think the move is down. If we don't open down tomorrow to start with, how about that? Once again, we're at 10,000. What do you want to do at tough resistance? Just gap below it. Easiest thing to do. So I would not be surprised in the least bit if we saw another gap down to start the day tomorrow. If we don't, watch this 10,000 area closely. I still can't help but believe we're still headed lower. It's been a slow bleed, kind of a slow grind, but for those of you Elliotticians that watch this stuff, that is exactly what Wave 3s do. They just bleed you to death. Never give the bulls a chance to get out, and never give the bears another chance to get in, because it always seems like they're just about to bounce. Anybody have those feelings today? Man, we're down so far, we've got to move up now. You tried to play it long only to get your hand slapped? Maybe by the end of the day, there were opportunities, certainly, to play this a little bit long, but you got to be very quick. You got to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you probably just got beat up most of the day. All right, so we are below 10-100, back to 10,000. You can see it on the daily. We got our first close below that. I give the bulls credit. We'll see if they can get it back up above 10-100 tomorrow. I'll give them one day to do it or so before the confirmation is there for me. NASDAQ on a 60, also getting below these levels. We actually gapped below that 1800 mark today. You can see the very nice move right down into this lower support area, which started the day as resistance. It let the stock run for a little while, then ran back down. Now the NASDAQ down 1.83%, still weakest on the day. Well, that was the NDX. The NASDAQ itself, sorry, down 1.66%, still weakest on the day. So with NASDAQ and other indices showing us weakness, what do we got? I don't know. I think the Bears are about to take over here. This could be a potential what? Do you see it? Do you see it? Yeah, maybe a head and shoulders. Here'd be the left shoulder. Here'd be the head. Here'd be the right shoulder. And there's the big move down. So if this holds, we might get another retest up in this area. And I'm telling you, if we do, not a bad place to look for a potential shorting opportunity. You're going to want to be careful now. Yes, we are starting to get stretched. Yes, I do think there's still more downside to this, and I don't think that this area is out of the question at this point. However, getting back down into this area, I want to be very careful. It is the NASDAQ, but I think this holds true with all the indices, including the Dow and the SPX. Weekly, it's Tuesday. We're down here. I'll just mention that we're down here, and then I'm going to move on because it's a weekly candle. Anything can change by the end of the week. I will bring this to your attention. 1741. What is that? The 200-week moving average. Let's see if we don't get somewhat of a bounce when we get down into that area. That would make very good sense to me coming into tomorrow's trading on the NASDAQ. All of these weekly type moves. That would make great sense to me. So if you are short, this is an area you're going to want to watch very, very closely. SPX on a 60-minute, you can see it consolidate here, looking for a potential move down. And where did it stop? Yeah, right above that 1050 level. So we got our break below 1055, but we didn't get it below 1050. So if you're still short, I would not be all that concerned, even though you might have gotten short below 1055 and then it didn't go anywhere. Wouldn't panic too much. From a daily perspective, you can see us right down into this lighter area of support. As I called, everything's following suit very, very well. Lines in the right place. Trend lines in the right place. And visiting the what? Yeah, that blue line that I said it was being pulled towards. It just wanted to be pulled down here. So now the weekly on the SPX is already back to a potential support area here. I'm not sold all out on this particular line. I like this heavier green line down here a little bit more. Ultimately, any breaks down below this 1025-ish area, I think we see this 1010 area. Not sure that'll happen right away, but always a possibility. VIX on a daily was up. There's your jump in the VIX, 7% as the markets fall. So we're right at the teetering edge of entering the red VIX zone. So for those of you playing options, I'm sure you're very happy if you had puts. From a weekly perspective, it's only Tuesday, but notice that we are maybe starting to climb our way up and out of this junk we've been trapped in for the last few weeks. If we can break above this area here, that'd be very strong. Fear coming into the markets should lend its hand to a lot of heavy selling. Once again, not sure we'll see that too soon, but the 30 mark, very, very possible. Apple on a 60, guess what it did? Yeah, it dropped. Wow, this thing just continues to bleed itself to death, guys. Below 250. I said you got to be careful. Here we fell into support. Here we gapped right back down to 240. For those of you that may have been taking some sort of a speculative short on Apple, you're raking it in. This was a good opportunity to play short Apple, even though it was speculative. As the markets move down, these have no choice but to go with it, especially since the NASDAQ is falling as well. I think Baidu's in that same boat. From a weekly, look how we're almost breaking 240. Told you guys, we're at 239.93, but week's not over. FAS on a 60-minute, gapping down, moving sideways as well. Not a lot actually to play there from a trading standpoint because it gapped and then didn't move anywhere. These are playing by the pennies at this point, so it doesn't really move all that much even if it does gap. Here's your gap up and above this 1650-ish area to 1675, taking you back to where? Oh, I don't know, maybe that 17-ish area. So I really think now that we've busted up above all this stuff, I do think 1750 and 18 and 1825 are very possible up here. So if you happen to be long FAS, I wouldn't be too worried about it at this point. If we do start to move back, this will be the area you will definitely want to hold, this 200-day moving average. But as long as this thing's running, let it run, baby. That's how you make your profits. All right, so that'll do it for today's trading and today's video. Now, one more plea, request, invitation, whatever, guys. Listen, if you're missing out on this move to the downside, you're missing out on some incredibly great profits down here. Shorting, if you don't know how to do it, is actually a very beautiful thing. It's amazing how quickly you can make money on the short side. If you're afraid to take entries, if you're scared to go short, if you don't know what you're doing, if you want to know how to play the futures so you can get out at any time, I'm going to say it again. Please consider my mentoring course. Well worth your time, well worth your money. Think about how much you may have lost this last week. And if you've lost quite a bit of money, it's time to invest in an education. Please. Give me a call, send me an email, give me a chance. It's well worth your time. All right, guys. See you again tomorrow night. Bye.